Hello, and thank you for calling the Higher Self Hotline, your direct line to the divine. You've been led here by your inner knowing, and you've arrived right on cue. I'm your host, Zoey Greco, and together we'll make the ethereal earthly, helping you consciously embody your spiritual knowing and most authentic self. Please listen carefully to the following options. To discover how to fulfill your soul's purpose, press 1. To unlock infinite abundance in life, love, and career, press 2. To heal your mind, body, and spirit, press 3. To speak with your personal spirit guides, press 0. Please hold while we connect you to your highest timeline. Hello, Divine Darlings, and welcome back to the Higher Self Hotline. I'm your host, Zoey Greco. Thank you so much for joining me today. In today's episode, you'll get to listen in on a client session with someone who is navigating one of the most tender and powerful transitions I see in my work. The shift from chasing success to truly defining it for yourself. We explore what happens when the old rules of achievement stop working and you're invited to lead from purpose instead of pressure. You'll hear us talk about business, visibility, intuition, and what it means to build something that actually feels like you. We also dive deeply into her numerology, including a Life Path 33 and a month-by-month roadmap of what is unfolding. If you've ever felt the fear of being seen, or you're learning to trust that joy and abundance can coexist, then I know that there is medicine in this episode for you. So without further ado, let's get into it. So before we dive in with our centering, I would love to just tap in with you for a second and hear a little bit about what brings you forward for session. Because obviously we're going to go through your numerology and all those good things, but I saw that you also started a business. You've been building your own business over the last year, and it just hasn't really ascended to the level of success that you were hoping for. So I'd love to hear a little bit about your business or anything else that brings you to session, just so I have kind of a baseline to tap into for us.
Yes. So yes, I started the business in 2023, and I've always been kind of like a high achiever, achieved high levels of success in the corporate world, all of that good stuff. And since starting the business, have been on this journey of, as one does, self-discovery and all of those things throughout this journey. Thought because, I was so successful in corporate life, like I'm going to have no problem being successful in business. And it turns out it's completely different, right? And so along that journey also, I have recognized and acknowledged my own intuitiveness and ability to tap in and channel and things like that at times, and have just become so much more interested in not only self-development, but also learning more about that world.
Yeah.
And I have friends who, are very intuitive as well. And we have, different conversations and stuff like that, but I've never met with someone who is professionally doing this. So I think I'm just very interested in learning whatever I can about myself and tapping in further, because I've realized over the last few months that that's where I need to go, is really just inward and start coming from more of an authentic place. And while I've understood a lot of these topics on this intellectual level, and kind of learned these things over the last year and a half of my life, I haven't necessarily implemented or embodied as much as I would like to.
Ooh, yes. You're so introspective. I really love that about you. I'm curious, what is your business? Like, what do you do in your business?
So it has changed and evolved since I started it. At this point, I really feel that I'm meant to help women kind of come back to themselves and figure out how to sort of create this more authentic, aligned life for themselves and redefine what success really is for them, and kind of create a life that feels better for them.
And do you do this through coaching, or are there certain modalities that you integrate into your work?
So I do it through coaching, a lot of mindset work. As I mentioned, I'm very intuitive. I am a human design projector. So I am very much just providing this level of guidance for women on their journey and kind of helping direct them. I also utilize some human design in my coaching as well.
So cool. I love that. All righty. So you know what? Honestly, if you're feeling open to it, the messages are already really starting to flow. I feel like the centering has kind of occurred simply through just the vibration that you've created through sharing. Do you feel open to just beginning the session and feeling ready to receive?
Absolutely.
Awesome. I love that. When someone is just automatically so open, it's so easy to tap in, and in spirit's just like blah, 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 blah. So I would love to begin by talking a little bit about your numerology. And I'm curious, are you familiar with your numerology, or is this a modality that's a little newer to you?
So I did get a report maybe a year ago at this. Well, I got yours, but I also had gotten another one from another practitioner maybe a year ago. So I definitely have a concept of what it is and an understanding. And I have read through portions of the one that you sent. It's
perfect.
Incredibly comprehensive.
Yes, it's very thorough, very thorough. And, just like people with astrologers use sort of softwares, there is a software that I utilize to help me build those reports. So I do like to do these sessions so we can really dive into what is even more specific to you personally. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting you mentioned that you've always been sort of a high achiever, a go-getter, because looking at your numerology and some of the main numbers in your chart, we do see that you are a birthday number 8. And the birthday number 8 really represents someone with natural leadership ability. It's somebody who has a strong drive and deep desire for success, and kind of a focus on the material or the financial achievement as a marker for success. And I think that's important to know too, is that not everyone with an 8 in their chart is materialistic. Like, I would not categorize you as a materialistic person. Sometimes, especially if we have a background in corporate, or we have a background in something that is maybe more structured that way, we do tend to use financial achievement or material achievement as a marker of success. And this energy is really about mastery over the material world, power, influence. However, there are lessons that come with an 8 in your chart about balance, especially balancing ambition and ethics and responsibility. And it feels like moving into the world of like coaching and intuitive work by stepping out of like a corporate environment, it feels like this balance might be a little bit off in terms of you being so committed to your ethics and so committed to a sense of responsibility that there may be a part of you, even a part that is less forwardly conscious and more subconscious, that feels that there is not as much of an open pathway or an open door or as much worth in the work that you're doing now to be able to receive financial benefit for what you're doing. And this is actually something that all practitioners tend to struggle with. I myself, when I started my business, had so much just absolute pain in charging people for what I do. And not to say that that's an issue that you're dealing with consciously, but on a subconscious level, it does appear that there's something showing up here around sort of stepping out of a world that is so focused on the material and stepping into a world that is so focused on the immaterial and the spiritual and the invisible, that it feels like it's harder for you to sort of hold space for both of those things to exist in the same experience for you. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. Like that is, yes.
Perfect. Perfect. So it's important to know that because you have a birthday number 8, that drive exists in you. It's there. It's always going to be there. But also there's a lesson, there's an opportunity for you to understand that achievement it takes different forms, and abundance takes different forms. And just because you're opening yourself up to new levels of abundance, including happiness, like the joy in doing what you're doing, the satisfaction existing from the work that you're doing, the lives that you're changing, the meaningful impact that you're imparting on people, and knowing that it's okay, that you have permission to receive in a multitude of ways. And you don't have to trade one form of abundance for another form of abundance. It's almost like if I'm having a good time and I'm enjoying myself, then I don't also get the financial reward. And Spirit's kind of like, like you can have it all, sister. You can have everything. And this is really beautiful because there's a really strong invitation for you in this personal year 5 to experience deep and meaningful change. This is a deep, deep time of transformation through joy, through a willingness to be witnessed, through a willingness to be experienced, through a willingness to experience more spontaneity, to try different things on. Sort of, it reminds me of like throwing spaghetti at the wall and kind of seeing what sticks, but not in the way that we're taught to sort of shy away from that process. Like we're actually really taught in a lot of ways that trial and error is actually a negative path, that it's not the most efficient or the most effective or the most successful. But on a personal level, as human beings who are here to experience life in all of its fullness, yes, absolutely. We are here to try things on, to have experiences. And this is going to be a year for you where really being willing to look at what you've been sort of carrying, even in this new iteration of what you're doing, and ask yourself, does this really serve me? Or am I holding on to this because I believe I need to? And as a human being, I want to just say, I relate to this deeply. Over this last year, I've been going through this, this rebrand, letting go of Merhipsy, coming into a business that's operated through my own name. And in a lot of ways, I thought I was just slapping a new sign on an existing business, not realizing that a lot of things that were happening on the inside, the way in which I was doing things, the things that I was doing, also were asking to be changed. But I was unwilling to let go because I thought that's what I was supposed to be doing. I thought I needed to show up in a specific way, and it was okay to change the name, but not change the work. And Spirit's really wanting you to know that you are allowed to experience yourself in new ways and show up in new ways, even beyond the permission that you have already granted yourself. And I do want to touch on as well, your life path. You are actually a master number, which is really exciting. You're a master number 33, which also carries the energy of 6. And the life path 33 is one of the rarest and most spiritually significant numbers. So it doesn't surprise me that you found your way out of corporate and into the spiritual, because it's a part of who you are. It's who you came here to be. And this is often referred to as the master teacher. It carries themes of unconditional love, service, healing, and those with a life path 33 are called to live a life of profound compassion and uplift others by living in alignment with their higher purpose and showing others how to do the same, which is exactly what you're trying to do with your business. So you found your way home, and that's so important. You found your way into this calling. However, the reduced version of 33, which is 6, is expressed through nurturing, through creating harmony, through relationships, through creating a sense of harmony and peace in your environment, striking balance in what you do. And it does feel like there is a battle between the healer and the teacher kind of happening in you right now, trying to decide how you want to step forward. Are you here to help people heal? Are you here to teach them and show them the way? What specifically does that look like? So as we dive into your personal year 5 in January is a personal month 6 for you. So as you may have seen in your report, 6 is all about the home, your friends, your coworkers, and for you as a business owner, that would be like maybe your clients, your family. The different relationships in your life really take center stage and are really the main focus for you. And you may find that these relationships present themselves as classrooms. Relationships are our greatest classroom. And so by having the opportunity to really sit deeply and consciously in your relationships, perhaps especially with clients or prospective clients, it's important to ask yourself the question, what am I learning from this experience? So for instance, I am exiting a personal year 6, and I actually fired some clients at the end of last year because I felt that the dynamic was no longer in alignment for me. And as someone who is so focused on being of service, I actually kept myself in those unhealthy dynamics for longer than I might have needed to, because I was so, caring and concerning of the other person. And this is really an opportunity for you to reflect and say, where do I feel really good? What am I doing that makes me feel awesome? What am I doing that makes me feel completely aligned? Who are the soul clients that I have the best time with? Who are, the friends in my life that I know I can truly share my fullness and my fullest expression with? Who in my personal life, in my family relationships, do I feel like I can be deeply honest with? And where do I feel like I'm still having to diminish myself? Where do I feel like I'm still having to maybe question my sense of self or my experience of who I am in order to make other people feel comfortable? You already are intuitive. You just don't know how to access your power. But don't worry, I'm here to help. The Intuition Activation Mentorship is back by popular demand one last time. I mean it. This is really the last time I will be offering this program. And if you want exclusive early access, a $500 discount, and a free private reading with me, you'll need to join the waitlist before September 12th. This transformative 30-day program is designed to rewire your mind for intuitive clarity, helping you move past fear and self-doubt so you can step into total trust in your inner knowing. Using a powerful fusion of mind-hacking techniques, neuroplasticity, positive psychology, and universal energy laws, this mentorship will expand your psychic abilities and give you the tools to confidently receive divine guidance. But what's inside the mentorship? 10 in-depth lectures on intuition, the science of neuroplasticity and mind hacking, and how to differentiate between ego and higher self. Daily intuitive activation exercises to flex and strengthen your spiritual gifts. Deep soul-level connections through community experiences and practice exercises. 5 live group calls where I will personally guide you through everything I know about oracle cards, pendulum work, aura reading, spiritual self-care, and more. And of course, 24/7 access to me for the duration of the program. Only 5 early bird spots are available, and first dibs goes to the waitlist. The waitlist closes September 12th, so if you're ready to unlock your highest potential, sign up now at zoegreco.com/IAM. That's zoegreco.com/IAM. I cannot wait to see you in class. It's not like a make or break. It's not a do or die. It's not supposed to feel super heavy and something that you can't overcome. It's not supposed to feel daunting. It's just a window of awareness. Like, oh, where do I feel awesome and where am I feeling squeezed and restricted? And even reminding yourself too, in relationships where you're feeling restricted or squeezed, it's not always about breaking up or separating. It's sometimes about, can I shift this dynamic through showing up more authentically? Can I shift this dynamic by being willing to be more honest? Can I ask for what I need, even in spaces where I've felt like I can't? And how can I show up for myself and strengthen the most primary relationship I have in this life with me, with my higher self, and with the universe? Taking some time this month to really strengthen or create some more regimented routine around your spiritual life and your spiritual practice, clearing out. It's also about, your environment. So maybe it's time to revisit your sacred space or create a sacred space. Maybe it's time to examine the relationship you have to time and the way that you're utilizing your time. This is really a window of opportunity for reflection. And I would love to remind you too that just because you're witnessing and becoming aware of what might need to change does not mean that you have to do it immediately. In fact, going into, I'll get there in a moment, but I did pull some cards for each month. And for January, one of the things that Spirit was really asking you to do is to focus on self-care and integration. You're in a space of deep divine download right now. It seems like there's like epiphany after epiphany, especially when you make space to listen, when you make space to receive, journaling, working with oracle cards, spending time every day to be with yourself. Giving yourself time to care for yourself, both, on a spiritual level and a physical level, on a mental and emotional level, and giving yourself the space to integrate all that you are becoming aware of right now, because that is what will support you moving forward in being able to make those changes from a place that is more grounded, that is more balanced. I think sometimes we might have immediate reactions to things and feel like we have to make the change right then and there. And Spirit's kind of like, actually, we're just inviting you to be able to focus on the big picture, to be able to look at the puzzle for each and every piece, but also to see the way that they come together in this larger image of your life, and really noticing, are there pieces that seem out of place? Are there spaces where I can welcome change as a force for good in my life? And they're also showing you that this could be a really important time for some energy work right now in your life, having some outside support in that integration process, having someone maybe lay some hands on you, or doing some shamanic soul retrieval, or some different type of energy medicine that really resonates for you specifically. Also, I'm a lover of plant medicine. It's legal here in Arizona, but also there's some that are not legal that I still do. And there's invitations into plant medicine as a form of energy work as well. Now, leading into February is a personal month 7 for you. And I always tell people, when you come to a 7, you're going to feel crazy town. You're going to feel super uncomfy. You're going to feel like everything is a moment of existential dread and crisis. You're going to question everything you're doing. And that's okay. It's okay to ask yourself deep questions. So now that you've spent January kind of noticing and becoming more aware and beginning to integrate, February is when we really ask ourselves, okay, what do I truly need to begin to detach from? How can I begin to nourish the parts of me that I have pushed aside and cast aside in order to make others comfortable or make myself more comfortable? What are the pieces that I've sort of put in a little box and tied with a bow and put in the back of the closet that I might need to bring forward? And by bringing them forward, you are inviting the process of detachment, because when we hide something within ourselves, it still sits within us. It's still something that we carry. And this is a time of really examining, like, what's in your backpack, what's making that load super heavy, what's weighing you down, and how can you begin to unzip that backpack and take it out piece by piece and begin to lighten your load. And Spirit is really, really encouraging. The very first card that you received here is actually detach and move on. You also received the go for it card, as well as the nourish your shadow card. And I love this because that's what they're really talking about, is that idea of tending to the parts that you've pushed into the shadows, tending to the parts that, and often we push things into the shadow that are not just, results of trauma or pain, but pieces of ourselves that we really need, that others have deemed or taught us are, unhelpful or unhealthy or make them uncomfortable. For me, that looked like being the center of attention. People taught me that being the center of attention was bad, 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 bad. Even though, there were lots of times that they wanted me to be, I was still taught to feel that that was bad. And so for a long time, feeling worthy of being seen for me sat in the shadows. So just an example of the way that, calling attention or shining that light or being that spiritual, soft, emotional, expressive self may have been demonized, and sort of pulling those pieces of yourself back forward in ways that maybe didn't serve the overachiever or the high achiever, but we're taking a different approach to the work that we're doing now. There's a different invitation being set forward. And Spirit is asking you to bring forward the pieces that have sat in the shadow, shine the light of love and acceptance onto those pieces. And instead of shedding parts of yourself, shed the criticism or the judgment or the stories or the limiting beliefs that have been attached to those pieces of yourself that have caused them to feel and be hidden. So I know this is a lot of information. We're only a third of the way through. We still have some time, but I want to check in with you and ask, how is this resonating for you? And is there any part of it that I can clarify as we continue?
It's literally, you're reading me. It all resonates so well. And it's so funny because I had a conversation with a friend who's also very intuitive this morning. And we were discussing my fear of being seen, that sort of like being the center of attention, and how I've struggled with that my whole life. And I have a speaking engagement coming up later this month. And how I'm struggling with that, of being the center of attention and having everyone looking at me. And so it's just funny because you said that and I'm like, yes, literally that's like right there. Just that realization.
I would really encourage you, if you can, to wear something sparkly, even if it's just, a piece of jewelry or a small accessory. Be willing to be up there and sparkle, like be willing to be up there and be shiny. And I would love to hear back from you about how it feels to not just be on stage, not just be heard, not just be seen, but to choose to show up and sparkle in that occasion. I think there's going to be a lot of power in that for you. And it makes me really excited for you.
Yeah, I love that.
As we progress and look forward, going into the month of March, March is a personal month 8 for you. And this is going to be like a nice breath of fresh air where the work that you've spent the first 2 months doing really starts to pay off. One thing I forgot to mention about a personal year 5 is that it's not just a year of change. It's also a year of unexpected blessings and opportunities. It's a year to embrace spontaneity. And so you may find that you have some ideas that come to you rather spontaneously, things that you might not have been sitting on for a long time or deeply considering, but are really calling you forward. And this is important because it looks like in the month of March, this is a time as an 8 month that you are focused on more like material matters and material kind of concerns. However, this is really the time where we heal that balance of giving and receiving, where you start to feel really ready and worthy and able to claim the financial abundance that you desire and deserve through the work that you love to do, not the work that you believe you should do. And this is also a time where you start to feel really bold and start to really feel the courage to begin to walk through portals that once felt maybe fearful or scary toward your destiny. And this is my favorite quote. I probably bring it up in every single session. Pema Chodron, the fear, our natural reaction to moving closer to the truth is fear. So fear is a natural reaction of moving closer to the truth. And this is where you start to realize, oh, my truth isn't actually scary. It's my ego's response to my truth that makes me think that it's scary. And so there's just this huge sort of like breakthrough where you kind of get to take a big breath of fresh air and go, okay, yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to welcome this abundance. I'm ready to be witnessed and seen. I'm ready to stand in my power. And from that point forward, it just gets better and better and better. Because moving into April is a personal month 9 for you, which is the number of releasing and letting go. And it feels like this is a completion on both a personal and a professional level for you. And you may feel that there are changes that are showing up even in maybe the way that you're offering your services or for whom you're sort of directing your work. And this is really important because there's this thing we're always taught, and I'm sure like you're so familiar with this, like we're taught to niche in and like decide who we're talking to in our audience, like who is our audience? And the truth is our audience for you said, helping women come back to themselves through like coaching and mindset work. And maybe even getting more specific about that. It feels like you might be getting even more specified in what type of women, which type of women are you helping come back to themselves? Is it women who have walked a similar journey to you, who felt like they needed to be high achievers, climb that corporate ladder, found themselves toward the top and went, what the fuck am I doing here? How did I even get up here? I don't want to be up here. This isn't where I'm trying to go. This isn't who I am. And helping them return to a more spiritual self. That may not be the audience that you feel called to serve, but there's some level of deep, deep truth that starts to break through. There is a resolution and a healing that takes place within yourself where you finally give yourself permission to allow yourself to be of service to exactly who you want to serve. And you are able to surrender the things that you've been holding on to out of a belief that you needed to, and instead get to write the story based purely off of what you actually deeply desire. So there's this very potent, like refining and sharpening process that takes place for you this year. And honestly, by the end of Q1, you're already, I should say maybe the beginning of Q2, you're really ready to kind of step into the next layer of this work and what it looks like. And in your report, it talks about, you're in a position in April to move to the spotlight, and that self-promotion is really favorable. This is a time of like being a little more vulnerable and actually seeing that it might be the thing that pays off is like the way that you've been trying to guard yourself or show up in deeper levels of professionalism are actually the things that have been preventing you from being understood or witnessed or seen clearly. And we begin to shed that in really big ways in April. And then by May, your personal year one, it's a new beginning. It's a fresh start. It's like everything starts to make the most sense. And this is marked by messages around allowing yourself to be more creative, allowing yourself to be more expressive, really piercing through the veil and the illusions that have created like dissonance and confusion for you in what you're doing. And you're actually stepping into a portal of divine timing and like perfect timing and opportunity to allow these deeper levels of yourself to come forward and be seen and to be experienced, and things start to really, really take off. So even actually starting in March, between March and May, some deeper clarity, some waves of abundance that are going to begin to flow through for you. And by June, the thing that's really coming forward in a personal month too is that you start to build relationships. Two is a number that is focused on emotional connectivity and awareness, emotional expression, intuitive growth, but also collaboration. It's a highly collaborative, communicative, sort of cooperative number. And this is where you start to really experience yourself as a magnet. And it's time to move forward into opportunities that maybe at one time you felt were not in alignment or not available to you, but now you're starting to really feel your oats. You actually got 2 messages about personal power in the month of June. You received the card, Use Your Personal Power, and It's in You, which has this beautiful lion on it. And you also, third card you received is It's Time to Go. And I love that because what they're really talking about is it's time to like let go and separate yourself from the desire to hide. And this is where you start to really allow yourself to be seen in big, potent, meaningful ways. And when you start to form professional relationships where you're uplifting others and they're uplifting you, you start to build a network and a source of collaboration and connectivity with those who share your vision, share your dreams, share your philosophy, people that you feel like you can connect to on a professional level, not just on an intuitive side, but we're intuitive beings trying to exist in the 3D, trying to exist in the capitalistic patriarchy, trying to exist in these systems. And how do we navigate it? And how do we dismantle the systems that don't honor us? And how do we hack the systems that don't honor us? And how do we work together to continue to build bigger dreams and bigger visions? And it's interesting because it looks like in the corporate realm, in the corporate world, it was easy for you to sort of project yourself forward and know what goals and ambitions you had because they were set there for you. It was like, well, I could get this position, or I could get this raise, or I could get this opportunity. And in the world of entrepreneurship, we set all the milestones for ourselves. We set all the markers. They're completely arbitrary. And it's an opportunity for you to really spend the next 6 months examining those milestones and understanding that some of them are going to be personal. Some of them are going to be, we're measuring things by the monetary income, but on other levels, we're measuring things by how, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much did I feel like I wanted to throw up before I got on stage? Or how much did I feel like I was able to connect with practitioners or, form meaningful relationships? Or, how much was I able to clarify who I really want to be serving? But I want you to know you're on the right track. You are on the right path, and you are exactly where you are supposed to be. There's no mistake in your journey and in your path. And the thing that I would love to invite you to do for yourself as you move forward is to hold so much loving kindness for yourself, so much support for you, and know that the world makes it hard enough and tells us all the things we're supposed to be doing and who we should be and what we should be doing. And we don't really need to take that from ourselves. So to begin to alleviate some of the pressure and to begin to ask yourself, where do I find joy? Where do I feel good? Where do I feel fulfilled? What feels meaningful to me? What feels like a signifier of joy and success to me outside of some of these markers that I might have been previously using? And it's almost like your whole vision of yourself and what you're here to do, it's sort of turned on its head in a way that is deeply clarifying. It's almost like you're looking at it upside down right now and you're like, I can totally tell what that is, but it is upside down. And so over the next 6 months, you're kind of turning it right side up and you go, oh, that makes much more sense. Like when I look at it this way, that feels really clear. And it's not about craning your neck to look at it upside down. It's about turning the vision so you see it clearly. So I know that is so much information, so much to take in. How are you feeling as you receive this? And is there anything I can clarify or answer as we begin to conclude?
No, I mean, that feels spot on. I just felt all the energy coming through me as you were doing that and speaking. And no, everything just feels like completely spot on. All of the things that I've been getting, it was just interesting because you just kept saying, I'm like, yes, that too. I know, I've been feeling that. And so it's just funny.
I love that. And I think that's the magic, right? Like this is our first session. This is our first experience of connecting with each other. And there's something so magical about being validated in what we hear and to know that, because that's really all I want to be. Like, I don't want to be an intuitive that's like, surprise, everything you thought is wrong. I want to be the intuitive that says, yeah, guess what? Everything that you feel, that is your inner voice. Your intuition is the voice of your higher self, and it is speaking to you, and it is calling to you, and it is asking things of you. And all you need to do is heed those calls and to know that whether it's validated externally or whether you just are able to hear it deeply coming from within, it is valid and it is true and it is real. And I just want to say, I feel joy in our experience together. Like this is how I know that I'm where I belong, because this session, this experience is exactly the type that I'd love to have, this rapport that we are building. And even though, I'm doing a lot of talking at you for the sake of time, I know you, I feel you. And I feel like I am exactly where I belong in this moment because I feel so joyful in the experience that we've been able to have. And that is the feeling that I am encouraging you to continue to pursue as you step forward. And I just want to thank you so much for choosing me, for investing in this experience, and know that I'm officially on your team. I'm on your side, whether you want me there or not. And I look forward to watching this continue to progress for you, and know that I am here every step of the way to support in any ways that I can. And this recording will reach you either at the end of this week or early next week. And I'm just so grateful for the opportunity to tune in with you.
Oh, same. This has been amazing. And I seriously feel like a connection with you. So that's awesome.
I feel it too. I'm so grateful. My heart is so full. I am sending you the biggest hug that I can send. And I hope you have the most beautiful, beautiful rest of your day. And I can't wait for our next chance to chat. All right, my friend.
Thank you so much.
Take care of you. Bye.
Bye.
And there you have it, blessed babes. Thank you so much for tuning in for another episode. I would love if we could take a moment to send this week's subject some love, sweetness, and positivity as she continues to lead from alignment, to step boldly into visibility and trust the beauty of becoming herself more fully. If you are interested in being on the podcast, send an email to podcast@zoegreco.com. Connect with me on all socials at the Zoey Greco. And of course, I want to conclude by reminding you that you are important. You matter, and you are perfect exactly as you are. I love you. Your spirit guides love you, and the universe loves you. So until next time, keep answering the call of your higher self. Bye.